Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we cover a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Adam Warlock, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Steven.
Tom.
Hello, everyone. It is nice to have Tom back on the podcast to talk to us about Adam Warlock. We've known about this character for a while, and we wanted to save it for the next time we had Tom on. How is everyone doing? How are you doing today, Tom?
I'll just duck. Excited to talk about Adam.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Steven? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Fred. Thank you for asking. How are you?
You're welcome. Oh, I'm doing just fine. I am very tired. How are you, Brad?
Also tired.
Yeah. I had a transformer blow up down the hollow from me at 2:30 in the morning. Woke me up real big. It was not pleasant, but I've got power back, so it's not a big deal. It was just a big sleep disruption on top of being super late home.
Fred.
All right.
Fred,
well,
Fred. Fred.
Yeah.
We live in
Yes?
West Virginia. It's not a hollow. It's a holler.
And
My-
for our non-West Virginia folk, you're going to have to actually define what that is.
Oh, a hollow? It's like I've got mountains on both sides of me, and there's one stream that runs alongside the road, and all the houses are along the road. That's a hollow. And Brad,
It's
my
the
English
space-
teacher, when I was
Space between the mountains.
space between the mountains, my English teacher would whip you if you said holler.
I know
All right.
for a fact that they aren't allowed to whip people.
Yeah, that is true. All right. Well, let's talk about some AMG news. So AMG had an announcement. I'm gonna throw it over to Brad to talk about this announcement. Hey, Brad, I'm throwing it to you.
Well, they had two announcements. The first one actually was sent out by Asmodee, not AMG, but it was in reference to AMG, about how Legion and MCP are going to be like their tentpole games, and Shatterpoint is going to become a specialist game, which means that they are going to spend a little less development time on them. The stuff for it's going to come out much slower than the other two games. But they're still going to do yearly balance checks, and they're going to support organized play and all that stuff. They're just going to slow down the releases, which they already have. Like, the stuff comes out for that game very slowly.
I have not been keeping track of Shatterpoint. It is the time that I have played that game, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's just I don't have space in my gaming head for yet another tabletop game.
Yeah.
So I did not buy into Shatterpoint. But I do want to say it is important to say that they are not abandoning the product.
No.
It is still being supported, and they still support organized play, and they are still going to produce models for the product. Yeah. It's just they're focusing their attention on Marvel Crisis Protocol and on Star Wars Legion, and from what I hear,
the new game, which is
the new game,
which is probably what you're about to say.
Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
They're making a new Marvel Crisis Protocol board game called was it Allegiances or Alliances? Alliances. The miniatures are cross-compatible. So what you get in the board game is you're going to get the stats cards to play them in MCP in the board game. The models look pretty cool. They are push fit.
That was what I was about to say. They're push fit models. Are they? They are not pre-painted though. Is that correct?
No,
or are they pre-painted?
You have to paint them. Well, they said if you just want to play as a board game with the board game plastics, unpainted, that's fine. If you want to paint them, that's great. Uh, which, great. The company's giving me permission not to paint my minis. I needed that. Thanks, guys. The the game in the game, your characters progress and add abilities and stuff, and they wanted a whole campaign to be played in a couple hours, like 2 hours, instead of each game, like each individual game taking that long, and then the campaign you have to play over several days. They wanted you to be able to get done with it in an evening. Um, and then you could repay the campaign, pick different abilities, all that stuff. The first box is spiders versus what's his name? Green
Green
Goblin.
Goblin.
Green Goblin and a bunch of Goblin dudes and Goblin henchmen. And then the second box is, we know it's Sentinels. Coming out this summer. I plan on getting the Sentinel box after, if as long as the game isn't bad. I'm gonna get the Sentinel
I have
box.
seen the models look very good. They also can be played as Marvel Crisis Protocol models. Is that like they are correctly sized to be Marvel Crisis Protocol models? So if you need like Black Cat, the Black Cat model looks great. If you need the Black Cat or any of the Web Warriors, and you don't want to buy them right now, or your shop doesn't have them in stock, you can wait until this game comes out, and you can use those models for the actual Marvel Crisis Protocol game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is good little a little bit of synergy. They're coming out with a board game that you can actually use the models for.
The first box, just to be completely clear, has Miles Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Black Cat, Ghost
Stacy.
Spider, yeah, Gwen Stacy, Ghost Spider, and Green Goblin, and a bunch of dudes that don't have rules, but that's okay.
Right? Yeah.
They can be terrain, size 2 terrain. Just litter them on the field.
Just guys.
Yeah, you just throw guys around.
I think
So,
genuinely, it's a cool idea, something that like might get people into the game of MCP by having a single purchase. It probably has some similarities in gameplay, but obviously it's a different game.
It uses
I
the
think it's
same
be interesting.
dice.
Hey, that's the first start
Yeah.
then. But I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where, like, if you like MCP for the competitive aspect, it might not be for you, but it is a co-op game, I think.
It is co-op. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a great way to get people used to playing in the Marvel Universe and maybe seeing some of the mechanics in action and maybe taking them further in.
Yeah.
It sounded from the description like it is a light legacy game. Very light. Because it says there's like powers that you get to choose that are persistent throughout the campaign that you do.
It's
And
more like a board game RPG.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably a better description. I was trying to talk it up, but yeah, I'm excited. I think this is cool. This is a good product. So, yeah.
I have a ton of X-Men board games. I don't mind buying another X-Men board game and playing it. I love X-Men board games. So,
Okay.
Of course, Brad's referring to the sneak peek release that they did with Sentinels.
yeah. I'll the game's gonna have to really suck for me not to buy that box.
And I think it is very unlikely that it sucks that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along. Those are the announcements that we have out of AMG. Let's talk about some tournaments coming up later this month. So on March the 7th, there is going to be a tournament at Roundtable Games in Dublin, Ohio. I'm gonna Tom, tell us is there anything we need to know about this tournament, or is it just a local event?
So this is a local event. A couple of us were thinking, man, it'd be good to have a little bit of practice for Brew Brawl. and we tend to do a first Saturday mini tournament at Roundtable every month.
Okay. All right. So if you are in the area around Dublin, Ohio, head on over and participate in this event. And he prefaced another tournament that's coming up that is on March the 14th, the Akron Brew Brawl. This is held at Missing Falls Brewery in Akron, Ohio. This is a big honkin' event. I have gone for 2 years now to each one, and they are always a lot of fun. These are good events. Your food is provided, and they give you a drink token that you can either get a beer or you can get all day soda. And I think this is a fantastic event. It is also going to be part of the Appalachian Cup. So if you're participating in that, head on over to Akron, Ohio for the Akron Brew Brawl. Then, coming up on the 21st of March, there is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. This is our local game store. This is just going to be a local event. This is our monthly third Saturday of the month tournament. There won't be very many people there, but we would always like to see more people show up. So if you are in the area, or if you just want to come down and hang out, we would love to see you there. Okay. I think that's it for upcoming events. Let's discuss games that we've played recently. So, Brad, myself, and Tom all participated in a tournament on Saturday, and it was a team tournament at Fabricators Forge. This was a ton of fun. Myself, Brad, and our friend Andrew made up one team. Tom, do you want to say who your team was?
Yeah, I brought my buddy Todd and Brian.
All right. And so we all showed up and we had 8 teams participating. That's 24 players, a pretty good turnout. And it was a blast. I very much enjoyed it. I think that we should start talking about how we did. So I'll begin talking about my first game. My first game was against Josh from the Pittsburgh area. So I was playing Inhumans, and he was playing Criminal Syndicate under Shadowlands Daredevil. So he was doing the Shadowlands Daredevil Mephisto thing. He had in his team Echo, he had Baron Zemo, and one other model that he had Prowler. Yeah, he had Mephisto and Prowler and Echo, and man, this was a killy roster that he brought. I brought King Black Bolt, Maximus the Mad. I had Gorgon, and who else did I have? I had Baron Zemo and one other model that I'm again forgetting what it was. But we were playing on Macran Crystals and Mutant Extremists target U.S. Senators. Playing at 19 threat. So this game started off with me having a very clutch takedown in round 1. At the very end of round 1, King Black Bolt fired one long-range shot at Echo, and I dazed Echo. That was a tremendous benefit, being able to do that. That helped me a lot. And that kept him from being too far ahead on points. And it let me pick up one extra point there in round 1, which I really needed because in round 2, he proceeded to kill my entire team. Round 2, I think he dazed all of my models except for King Black Bolt. He was able to get, I think, 7 of the points, or it may have even been 8 of the points that were on the field. And I think I got 2. The score at the end of round 2 was I had 6 victory points and he had 13. So I'm going into round 3 thinking to myself, I am in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. And at the beginning of round 3, he uses all according to plan to even steal the priority away from me. So I'm looking down the barrel of a really bad loss at this point. He activates Shadowland Daredevil. Shadowland Daredevil does an attack into Maximus the Mad, and he kind of whiffs. I roll, I think, 2 successes on my 2 defense dice, and I think he rolled 4 successes, and I forced him to re-roll 2 of those successes, and he re-rolled into failures. So uh, his first attack into Maximus the Mad was a whiff, and he is bleeding and only has 1 hit point remaining. So his second action is to shake bleed. This is the moment that I switch the game over, because we are playing on senators. He is holding a senator and has 1 hit point remaining. And for anyone who's played against Inhumans, you know that is beautiful target for Terrigenesis. I Terrigenesis him, I daze him, I get 2 victory points, which puts me at 8 victory points. I took the thing. I then Maximus the Mad uses his spender to daze Mephisto, and then uses his builder to daze. I believe he dazed Echo. So he dazed 3 models in 1 activation. This was tremendously good for me. I rolled really well this activation. I survived the first attack, and from that point forward, he was on the back foot for the rest of this round. And King Blackbolt mopped up. I think I dazed every model that he had, and I scored 8 of the victory points. And in so doing, I went from 6 victory points at the beginning of the round to 16 at the end of the round, and he scored 1 victory point. And I won the game 16-14. I put this entirely on Terrigenesis. Terrigenesis was my lifesaver, absolutely. We talked about it after the game, and he would have been much better off had he just let Shadowland Daredevil bleed out. Had Shadowland Daredevil just let himself take that last damage in daze, I would have had no target who was close to death with a Terrigenesis. I think the closest person was 3 health away from dazed. And I usually don't try to take that risk. It's not worth risking Terrigenesis on just 3 damage. That's my first round. I pulled out a win. I'm going to throw it over to Brad to talk about his first round. Brad, how do you do?
I played Bryce. Bryce played Mighty Avengers. He played Blue Marvel. I hate Blue Marvel. Spectrum. Sam Cap. Juggernaut. And that might be it. Because it was 18. No, it was 20. I don't know. If he had another model, I can't remember what it was. I played Psylocke. Apocalypse, obviously. Gambit, Beast, Wolverine. We played Scrolls and Intrusions. I like Intrusions a lot as Apocalypse. And fate said I wasn't winning this game. Bryce will readily admit that dice were very one-sided in this game. Bryce one-shotted Gambit and Beast on turn 1. Both of them. Just 1 hit dazed. And KO'd both of them second turn. Dazed both of my other horsemen second turn. No, that can't be true. I had 1 person up. I think it was Psylocke. So Wolverine got dazed. Because first turn I score 3, he scores 3. Second turn I score 3, he scores 3. Fourth turn, uh, Wolverine takes out 2 models, dazes them, and KOs Sam. I might have KO'd Sam last turn, but Wolverine did that. Um, Psylocke finally gets dazed. Apocalypse gets thrown off the point, and then I move him onto a point, and then he gets displaced off of a point again, I think. And I score 0 points to Bryce's, I think, 6. So he's at 12, and I'm still back at 6. And the last turn, he kills Psylocke, kills Wolverine, um, scores. Oh, he had to score more than that. Because he was at 15, not 12. So that's 9 points. And then he scores 5 to my 3 this last turn, beats me 20-9. We are done about the time Fred's going into round 3.
Man.
And worried about losing his game. I look over. Fred's on the far end from me, and Andrew's in the middle, who's playing a Web Warriors mirror. And I look down at the board, and it's 2 spider tokens, but one's acrylic. I don't know whose is whose. And I look at Andrew, and he just shakes his head yes. And so I felt good about Andrew winning. He did win uh, the mirror.
Off.
He won the mirror, and he said he won it because of Clone Saga. He deployed everyone they shared across from Mac's version, and had plenty of chances to play Clone Saga, and played it on Spider-Man Noir against Spider-Man Noir, and his Spider-Man Noir kicked his butt.
So we end up winning 2-1
Yep.
in this matchup. So yay us.
My
Tom,
teammates pulled it out for me because I couldn't get there.
we did. Tom, why don't you tell us about how your first round went?
Sure. So I was on a different team, as you can tell. We were team Pew 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 because that's the best name, and we played against Are We the Baddies, and that is friend of the podcast Savage's team with Les and Jason. I don't. You guys didn't talk about your pairing process or your thought process, but we had Prio, I believe, and so I popped Dormammu as our face up. That's what Brian was playing, as it's not necessarily an all comers list, but I feel pretty confident that Dorm has good matchups mostly across the board. He's got a couple bad ones, but I felt that myself as Apocalypse and my teammate as defenders Todd had better alternates in this matchup. So Savage went into Brian, and that was probably the best matchup they could have because Guardians can shoot through Dorm decently well with range and not get pushed out of place, and they have the output. So he did manage to take that game. I got Todd into Les's Hydra. I felt really good about Todd's defenders being able to out damage that Hydra team, and then I paired myself into Brotherhood, which is what Jason was running. I feel really good about APOC into Brotherhood. I think the same mistake will be made in every Brotherhood game versus APOC, which is they will always teleport Magneto round 1 with Asteroid M, trying to kill stuff, and it won't work as well as they want it to, and you just pivot away from them, and that model never really does anything else. So that's kind of what happened. He teleported his Asteroid M, his Magneto into my APOC early. I took a couple damage from an attack, fell back, broke the reroll bubble, and then proceeded to isolate Mags within, I think, round 2 with magic, maybe 3, journeying him to Limbo, and I think Mags didn't get another attack that game. So he got like 2 attacks into Apocalypse all game, and then was in the corner, and I didn't even finish him off. The rest of the game was spent avoiding my Apocalypse being in range 3 of any of my own models because he was a crafty guy and brought Lady Mastermind. And I just, as long as I could avoid taking 7 die hits from Apocalypse into my own team, I was pretty confident I could score out everywhere else, and I did. So we took that one 2-1. The defenders into Hydra game went really well, and Todd just outpaced him on damage.
Okay, congratulations, Lady Mastermind. Is she very strong when going into an Apocalypse match for just that reason, and the Apocalypse player has to keep that in mind, or is this just was this just an interesting play pattern using Lady Mastermind this way?
So maybe I should go into his list. So his list was interesting. So it was 18. So he ran Lady Mastermind, Emma, Mags, and I forget the last model. But basically, it made 2 models that number one, APOC can't recal against because he can't recal against Emma and he can't recal against Lady Mastermind. And Lady Mastermind being able to put out for 4 power a 7-die attack across the board means APOC cannot be near anyone on his team because his basic attack is too strong. Because horsemen aren't exactly tanky if they're the 3-threat horsemen, and that's pretty much all I run. I'm not like Brad. I don't like 4-point horsemen very much. So it's one of those like really weird situations where you have to know how Lady Mastermind works, or she will do things to your team that you're not expecting.
I remember one time being up against Lady Mastermind and her turning Shuri into the worst thing I could have possibly brought.
Indeed.
So yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations, Tom, on your first victory. Let's go into our second round. So my second round opponent was we were paired into I forget what Chance's team was called. But we were paired into Chance's team. Roll better. I'll tell you what, I certainly did not this game. I certainly did not. So I was paired into Johnny Blasto, and we started this game off. Johnny, he was playing Web Warriors while I was playing my Inhumans, and we started off with a really bad draw for me when we came to the crises. So I have 4 out of 5 of my extracts are civilians. And if it could be 5 out of 5, it would be, because I want to play civilians. And it did not happen. He, of course, drew the one that's not a civilian, Terrigen canisters. And the 2 secure crises that I drew were both Ds. It was Riot Spark and Cosmic Invasion. And those are terrible. I have a problem with Maximus the Mad playing on D crises. It just doesn't work well for me, especially when I'm up against Web Warriors who can be everywhere at the same time. So I end up we were also playing at 17 threat, which I can do pretty easily. That's not my problem number, but what I brought was Maximus. I brought Medusa, and 3 3s. Those 3 are Gorgon, Crystal, and Baron Zemo. He was 6 wide at 17. He had Miles Morales, Spider Noir, Spectacular Spider-Man, Black Cat, Wong, and Ghost Spider. And he was wider than I was. We were playing with 5 extracts and on Riot Spark. I was in trouble from the very beginning of this game. He also, in the first round, I took the center point with Crystal, and he did a thing that was very clever. It's a tactic with Black Cat where in round 1, Wong gives a power to Black Cat and then goes up and stands on his closest Riot, and then Black Cat double moves to stand next to someone I don't want to activate first, that person being Crystal. That means at the beginning of round 2, I have to either activate Crystal first, or Black Cat is going to steal the thing and run away. So what I do is I activate Crystal first, and I try to take out Black Cat. And obviously, I can't take out Black Cat. Black Cat is a particular problem because under Maximus the Mad, I really depend upon that dice fixing, and I can't dice fix against Black Cat. So this is I end up attacking Black Cat in this game like 5 or 6 times, and I think I do her a grand total of 2 damage. So yeah, that's kind of how this goes. Crystal activates, attacks her twice. I think actually no, it was only twice because I didn't have enough power. And I whiff. Black Cat activates, steals the thing, runs away, and then things don't go well for me for the rest of this game. I do okay on my left point, where it's Medusa and Gorgon versus Spider Noir and Spectacular. I'm winning the fight, but it doesn't matter because I'm losing on points. I'm consistently getting fewer points than him all across the board. At one point, Ghost Spider comes down, and in the last activation of round 2, Ghost Spider comes to my point on my side of the board and pulls the person off of it, and then stands on it herself. So I'm. It is classic Web Warriors tactics, and I did not have a solution to it, especially on these crises. I lose this game 16-8. So go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What made you think that Crystal could kill Black Cat, and why didn't you just leave?
Oh, okay. So you're correct. Like, that was dumb. That was dumb of me. What I should have done is just let her steal it, and then
No, you could be Crystal and just double move to your back point.
But it's Terrigen canisters, so my ability to move is slow when I'm holding it.
Run away.
I should have run away. That is correct. That would have been the better choice. And I don't know. I should have. My decision making in this game was not great either. Like, I made that mistake. What you just said, I would have been better off if I had just run away. At one point, Medusa made all of her attacks into Spider-Man Noir, who was wounded. Those attacks should have gone into Spectacular Spider-Man, who was healthy. And if I had done it that way, I would have captured that point. And because I didn't, he contested it. So, yeah, I mean, like, my decision-making in this game was not very good. I lose this game 8-16. Brad, what? Tell us about your second round.
I end up into Brotherhood playing Josh, and we played 18 points, and we played the exact same rosters that we had played last Saturday when we played each other. I played Apocalypse, Gambit, Magic, Blob, Beast. He played Emma, Magneto as his leader. He always plays Magneto. A Sentinel Mark IV, which is great. I love that. And Rogue. We're on Inhumans deploy weapons and superpowered scoundrels. I grab something with magic, so she's in the middle of the field, which is usually okay. I regret my deployment. So I put Apocalypse down first, and he only put the Sentinel on that side, and so I started putting all my other people across from his people, clear on the other side, and that was kind of stupid. But even after I did that, I could have realized that and literally deploy my guys, but like move them off the line in a different way that would have helped me long term in this game. And that's something I'm going to keep in mind for the future. He Asteroid M first turn. Um, but like I played in such a way that he took Magneto up to where Emma was on his point, but there's a big piece of terrain in the way. So he actually had to move Magneto and only got one attack on Magic. Unfortunately, he one shot her. I'm having flashbacks of round one already. Uh, Rogue is on the midline because she went up and got the other weapon. I move Beast onto the middle. I move uh, what's his name, Blob, onto my Super Predator Scoundrel on that side. And another mistake I made, I went and got an extract with Apocalypse and put him on my home point. And it's probably okay for that first turn, but second turn I should have moved him to the middle point where he would have had a much bigger effect on the game. And I could have rotated one of my other models to the point he abandoned. I don't do this. This probably long term loses me the game. His whole first turn setup is cool. He puts the Sentinel down in a place where he can stomp two pieces of terrain to give everybody an extra power so that everybody's funded on turn one. Rogue can charge if she needs to. People can Asteroid M. He gets everything set up. It's a pretty back and forth game. I lose Magic. Well, it's not back and forth. It's cagey. That's the right word. We play a very cagey game. Magneto attacks Magic at the start of turn 2 and KOs her. And this may be the last attack Magneto gets in the entire game. I play around making sure Magneto does as little as possible and Emma does as little as possible. Rogue chases Beast clear across the board. They end up clear over with the Sentinel. Gambit also goes from that side all the way to the other side, running away from people and pinging them as he does. Unfortunately, Rogue did the Lord's work over there and eventually kills Gambit, dazes Beast. I kill his Sentinel eventually, but Apocalypse is over there. That's not that big of a deal. And we are on into turn 4. We tie at 16 points and go into round 5. We have point parity, obviously. Throughout the entire turn, every time one of us got an advantage, the other one would get an advantage to like tie the points up again. And his last activation is Emma Frost. She uses I have a point advantage at this point, so I'm going to be making one more point than him. She uses her superpower to move Blog off the point because it's an advance and it's not an attack, so that's fine. I can't do anything about that. All I have to do is hope he rolls bad, and he didn't. He got at least 1 damage through. And then he goes and attacks, moves and attacks Apocalypse. And her attack has an advance on a wild. And so I'm thinking, well, I have some get out jail free cards because I'm an idiot and forget that you cannot react to her. So he rolls, he sees the wild, he says that's game. And I'm like, well, I'm going to make you reroll. And he says you can't. And I'm like, you're right, I can't. That is game. Very good. Because I had 2 recals still left. Because the people who got hit hard enough to die didn't have the power, like Magic's second turn. And I had Warpath left. Warpath gets me back on that point, except I'm not allowed to play it. So he beats me 1 point, ends up 19-18. It was a really good game. I learned some lessons from it, and I guess that's what you need to take from a loss. Can't learn any lessons from round one, where I just get diced off the table. Uh,
Right. Yeah, Blue Marvel can doesn't leave room for
yeah.
lessons.
Andrew plays Chance, so it's Web Warriors into Apocalypse, which is a bad matchup for Web Warriors. Andrew only loses by 2 points. So,
Yeah, Andrew did great.
yeah.
Andrew did great throughout this entire tournament. He really was a standout performer. I want to. So Tom, you asked us earlier what our plan was matchup wise. Going into this, we thought our plan was maybe to sacrifice Andrew. Sometimes when we felt like there was a very strong player, we'd sacrifice Andrew into him and hope to win the other two games. We were all backwards on that. Like in round two, what we landed on after round one is that it would be better if we threw Andrew into the mirror. Like anytime we see a web warrior, we try to put Andrew into the web warrior. But it didn't work out that way this round. We wanted to do that. It would have been better off for us had Andrew gone into the web warrior, but it just didn't play out that way. Like we did not know where to put him exactly, and we misjudged where that was going to be. Oh well. So Tom, how was your round two?
Yeah, so Team Pew 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 played Tenacious MCP. I believe we may have won Prio again. I put our Dorm player down again because I'm like, he's just there. He will fight whatever and he'll figure it out, or he won't, and we'll be okay. Dorm is such a solid piece. Again, I just feel like he's got very few bad matchups, so he's our best face-up player. They put down their Sentinel player, which that was the only Sentinel at the event. And he was playing Big Stompy Robots and Ultron, I believe, Ultron 2. And I looked at the Big Stompy Robots and went, I can't wait to see what Defenders does into Big Stompy Robots. Doctor Strange can push those guys. And I think that's what happened all game in that one. And then I looked at the last matchup was a Hydra Cabal list. And I saw, like, normally I would think as an APOC player, I'd be curious to if he had Baron Strucker, like maybe there's an issue there because he can give me back the conditions, and I don't want to have conditions on me. But he wasn't running Strucker; he was running Red Skull 2 and Malekith. So I assumed, all right, so I'm going to play into Malekith. He actually chose Red Skull 2 Hydra. I don't know if everyone knows this. Do not play Red Skull 2 into APOC.
Yeah.
Not even as a model, ever. Unless you have one hell of a plan, you are free power for APOC. So he revealed his list, and we got like a really wide, like 20-point wedding party and Montesi game going on. And he ran like 6 or 7 wide. I can't remember how many. And it was a bunch of 3 threats, Bucky 2, and Red Skull 2. And man, I looked at that and I went, oh, this is exactly what I want to see as an APOC player. I and Brad, you're going to hate me for this. I run Red Skull 2 in my APOC list. So at 20 points, it's really easy to fold him in, or even at 19 at some points values, or at some matchups. So I ran Gambit, Beast, Magic, Red Skull 2 with my APOC. And I just pivoted across the board, killed half of his list, and then left the rest behind. He had like a Mysterio trying to cross the board and a Scourge trying to cross the board at me. But the mobility I had compared to what I could kill on one side, it was a very one-sided game. I think if he sees that matchup again and goes Malekith, it's a much better opportunity for him to win. But that just felt like it was feeding me power and points all around. We end up doing really well this round, and we 3-0. I think that puts us into your last opponents for our last round.
I think that's right. Out of curiosity, what is it that makes Red Skull 2 such a bad model to play into Apocalypse? Is it just his grunt? Oh,
Well, there's two things, and Brad, you can jump in at any time. So number one, you don't want grunts into APOC if you could help it, because death killing a grunt gets you 3 tokens,
Yep.
and you are just fueling your team forever. And then secondly, Red Skull 2's defensive mechanism is to choose an ability type of either energy or mystic to have a defense against, and APOC chooses all of his damage types.
Right.
So
He just attacks your gap, whatever
Yep.
you choose.
Yep. So you hop in and you just farm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we just lose Tom?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. You cut out for some reason. It may have just been on my end.
But yeah, so don't run Red Skull 2 into APOC.
Right.
Okay.
Run Red Skull 2 in APOC.
Okay, so we're going into round 3 now. I forget what our opponent's team was called.
They were Tenacious MCP, the team that Tom just played.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Tenacious MCP, you're right. All right, so I matched into their Guardians of the Galaxy player, a gentleman named Jesse, and he played Adam Warlock into my Inhumans. We were playing with Terrigen canisters and on lockdown, the new secure crisis. We were playing at threat value of 18. I had mentioned earlier that 17 is not a problem for me. 18, weirdly, is kind of a problem for me if I'm playing with Maximus the Mad as my leader, because I have to take 3 4 threats or a 5 threat and a 3 threat, as opposed to 2 of those 4 threats. So I have to take Black Bolt if I'm playing Maximus the Mad. That is the wrong choice in this. I probably should have taken Maximus the Mad, Medusa, and Killmonger. That's my other 4 threat. I also probably need to remove Killmonger from my roster and replace him with a 4 threat that makes more sense. But so this game,
I think he's wrong. I should play Killmonger. Tell us in the comments what you think. Killmonger's in there from an earlier iteration of the roster. Anyway, this game I play Maximus. I play normal Black Bolt, 5 threat Black Bolt. I play the dog. I play Gorgon, and I play Baron Zemo. Is that how the maths? 9 + 9 is 18. Yes, that is how the maths. My opponent is playing Adam Warlock with the space and the bonded soul gem. And then he played Rocket Raccoon and I guess 8 more points of Guardians. Yondu and another 4 threat Guardian it's Beta Ray Bill, obviously Beta Ray Bill. This game goes so decidedly bad for me so early. Adam Warlock in round 1 moves for double teleports forward with the space gem and then spends 2 power to teleport again, and then builders and dazes Baron Zemo with 1 attack, gains 5 power from having done so, and then uses his spender on Gorgon and dazes Gorgon. So I'm going at the end of round 1. He has dazed Baron Zemo and Gorgon, and Yondu has also attacked me from far away. He did a little bit of plink damage to Maximus the Mad, nothing too serious, but we started off with me taking a really big punch in the face. I do not recover from this. He is killing my models left and right with Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock's leadership, he used it very well. It was every time that he's making an attack roll, he would end up with 1 shield in the attack roll, and he'd take it and put it in there, and then
When my turn came around, I would attack him, and he'd end up with one hit or one wild or something in the defense roll and swap in the shield. And I was just like, every single time he was doing the right thing, like taking a thing out and putting a success in. And I get absolutely annihilated this game. I don't have a good solution for Adam Warlock. I don't know what to do. I lose this game 12-21. That is how this game plays out. Weirdly, the dog kind of did a lot of work for me. It's these 4 dice attacks that always blow up, because the dog does like maybe the most damage of any of my characters against Adam Warlock. But it was desperation at that point, and not even worth talking about, because it was irrelevant at that point. That is how my third round went. Brad, why don't you tell us about your third round?
I played the Sentinel player, the big stompy robots. We played 18, and I briefly just was gonna play the same list, the 4 3s as horsemen, but my 2 of those are Beast and Blob, and I didn't like that into a bunch of energy attacks because they're both kind of weak to them. Um, I could have played Iceman, but honestly, I decided after I submitted my list that Iceman's coming out of my list, and I'm going to put Deadpool back in. So if I had had Deadpool, I probably would have went ahead and played Beast still and played Deadpool and went wider. But instead, I played 3 4s. So I played Wolverine, Psylocke, and Colossus. This was okay. Like, this is fine. The problem was this was another dicey game. Like, my attack and defenses were terrible. His attacks and defenses were probably actually on a whole average, but mine were so bad. I kept losing models so quickly. I do make a mistake with Warpath at one point. I used it on Wolverine to get back, like securing. We did lockdown and Inhumans deploy, and I got back into a lockdown, but then I was close enough that he could throw terrain at Wolverine. He was out of attacks with Ultron. He played Ultron. I didn't have a death, so I couldn't just pick on the grunts, which is sad. But he was out of attacks with Ultron, and I moved back onto the point, and he threw a piece of terrain at Wolverine and dazed him, and it made me sad. If I just either not played Warpath or not gone quite as far, I would have been fine. Just bad. He took Colossus down pretty quickly, which should not happen, especially after he's flipped. But that's how it was. The one that kept getting turned off was the one that Ultron and a Mark IV was sitting on, except for one round. So we played 4 total rounds. So 2 of those times it was that one, and once it was mine on that same side. The side with Prime, a Mark IV, Apocalypse, and Colossus. Both of those were on the entire time. He asked me after the game if I saw any mistakes, and the only thing I could tell him, because he played it pretty well, and then Dice helped him seal the deal pretty well. 19-10, I lose. And the only thing I told him is the first time his got turned off with the Mark IV and Ultron, I think he should have moved one of those models over onto my point, so that he had a model on each. Because by then, at that point, they were both healthy, and one of my models over there had been flipped, and the other one was about to. So having a healthy model on each, I think, would have helped him long term. Now, I do eventually flip both of those models, but Prime also makes his way over there. So Apocalypse can't just kill him. But Apocalypse, I dazed. No, I don't even think I dazed. I never even dazed the Mark IV on Apocalypse's side. That's how bad Apocalypse rolled.
Oh boy.
I did
Oh
daze.
man.
I did daze the Prime, but I never got the Mark IV. I think he had like
That's a heartbreaker.
2 damage on him at the end. It was really bad. So I lose this. Andrew plays against the Cabal Hydra player. I actually don't know what that player played. I don't know what leader he played, anything about it. Andrew wins that game and
Yeah.
goes 2-1. Our team gets 6th. I'm dead last on the individual ratings, and Andrew's 5th, and Fred's in the middle of the pile. And that's how our team did.
Yep. Tom, why don't you tell us about how your round 3 went?
Yeah, so we go into roll better, and Brad, I wanna talk about something. Remember the very end of your game versus Josh? We had a conversation because we had talked about the previous games and the previous rounds, and I said, yeah, the Brotherhood player last time played Asteroid M round 1. I think it's a giant mistake to do, and we had a little back and forth between the three of us.
Yes.
So that's going to come up. So I put Dorm down as our face up, and they put Brotherhood up. I put myself into Brotherhood because, again, I said I think APOC's got a good matchup there. They put their webs into our Dorm, which I think is like a 50-50. Like, that's really dependent on, what the crisis are, I feel like. Webs are solid, but like they can fall pretty fast if they don't score out. And then Chance puts himself into our defender player. And full disclosure, Todd has played like 3 games in the last 7 months. I pulled him out of like semi-retirement because he's been playing Shatterpoint, and I was like, I need the third. You need to play. So I don't think he understands what Apocalypse is at all. And after the event, he's like, whoa, I need to play Apocalypse. There's so much going on.
Oh no.
So that game didn't go that well for him, but that was really, I think, more of him just not knowing that matchup at all, and Chance being a good player, and he just couldn't push through that. The Dormammu Web Warrior game, I think Johnny managed to pull, Johnny Blaslow, I don't know what Mac is his real name. He manages to pull the win off pretty quickly because he just outscores him. And so it's kind of just the last fight. It's just me being like, well, I want to win at least. So I'm playing into Brotherhood. I'm playing, we got 19 Macron, and I think it's Montesi. What was it? Probably Montesi. Yeah. And he runs Juggernaut, Magneto, Emma, Rogue. And I pull APOC, Gambit, Code, Magic, and Red Skull 2. Again, I just feel like it's great to run Red Skull 2 there. So I think this game came down to Josh really likes to play aggressive in Asteroid M round 1. So he looks at me. We're like 2 activations in. He says, I know we talked about this being a bad idea, but I'm going to do it. And so he Asteroids M Magneto in, and, he does a bunch of damage to Gambit. I think he flips Gambit, and he walks up and takes the other Macron point. So I think he's got a 5-2 lead because he had Prio and took mid book with Juggernaut. And this game kind of comes down to a lot of really meatily moving back and forth with like, okay, Mags, you hit Gambit, and then he runs away, and now he's out of your range band, but you have to pull him back in, but you don't have rerolls. Then he runs away again because he saves, or he sacks into Magic. You do X damage to Magic, but you can't throw into Magic because you have Juggernaut in the way. And he does manage to do a lot of damage. He takes out Magic and Gambit pretty early. But over the course of time, I'm doing little things like taking a Juggernaut who's got a book and journey through limboing him to my side of the board behind my guys, so he's on fire next to Red Skull 2 and the Grunts. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, I feel like when you overcommit with your Asteroid M too early, you don't have a way to get out of those situations. So I managed to take out the Juggernaut, take that book, hit Rogue, take that book. I'm sitting, I think, 3 books one of the rounds, and then he starts taking them back from me. And Mags, after his turn 1, never really moves. And he gets attacks in. Don't get me wrong, Mags is doing things, but I'm doing stuff with Red Skull Tool and APOC on the other side of the board, and just I start getting the points to come back around. And again, I feel like no matter how good that feels for Brotherhood players, hold on to your Asteroid M. I know you think that Mags will win you the game round 1, but you should hold on and see if you need it later, because if he gets isolated or the game moves away from him, it just gets way too difficult for him to make the impact 6 threat needs to be. Honestly, I think because Jugs had prio on the movement and Jugs had the middle book, if he had castled on his back points and forced me to go into him, that's a much harder game for me to win. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, congratulations on your win. You went 3-0, but you still ended up losing your team, which is unfortunate.
Yep, it happens.
It happens. That's kind of how team events work sometimes. I will say this event was a ton of fun. We really enjoyed the team format. It's something that I want to do more of. These team formats are neat and well planned out, and Bryce always runs a great event. We should talk more about how these team events work, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Tom, tell us more about team events.
Yeah, so this is my 4th team event, I believe, and they're just a ton of fun. I've been to different ones with different levels of Highlander. Highlander being, obviously, you can only have one person having the same character, or everyone can have one character. You can't duplicate all that kind of stuff. I've done Crises Highlander. I haven't done Tacticard Highlander, but I know that's another one that people have done. Um, there's a different level of thought you have to put into these events, where you can't just slam the best models in the game in every list. So, when you start putting together your teams, you really have to think about, okay, everyone wants Baron Zemo. I get it. But one person's going to get Baron Zemo. Um, and if you give someone Baron Zemo, well, what list does that turn off? So, for example, I give Baron Zemo to our Dormammu player. That means I'm probably not going to play Invaders, because you kind of need Baron Zemo to play Invaders. But what does that open up? It means, okay, that means Namor is available, so you can play Stronger Defenders lists maybe, or other ways. Code is actually one of those models that you really have to think about, because APOC is one of the best team playing teams, because he takes almost no one anyone wants except for Toad and maybe Gambit. But he's so solid, you definitely want to go for it. Our thought process for this event was, if we have one good scenario team, APOC, and 2 good punch in the face teams, because the meta is more punchy, we should do okay. And I think we did. I don't know what you guys thought. I think you guys kind of just played the stuff you like to play normally, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought about that at all.
We did think about the overlap and the fact that what we normally play doesn't overlap, except Andrew plays Toad in his Web Warriors. Pretty good fit. And I just told him he couldn't have them. He's like, that's fine. I'll play Spider Ham.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So the very first team event I ever did, my buddy Conan and I recruited my wife to play, and we did really well. Again, it was like, we'll play what we want, and Cass plays funny stuff, and she does great with criminals, and she did great. And from that, like, I kind of got into man, this is really fun, and so my second and third events were squad goals, and we have been very fortunate to do very well at squad goals. I think we've gotten third both years, and the thought process you have to put into really thinking about, okay, not only do I have to think about um, what models are available and what I can give, but what am I expecting to run into and how are we going to fix our pairings becomes a really complex math once you start to really get into it, that you really don't experience in normal singles play because you have access to everything and you just have to make an all comers list. You can always protect one list in a team. So, for example, if you never want your web players to play APOC, your web player will never have to play APOC. They may have to play something else, but they will never have to play APOC. And when you start thinking about from a singles list how much thought you have to put into, okay, I need to either dodge my bad matchup or have some sort of plan in my bad matchup, it's just a different calculus.
You're right. I mean, I was talking about this with Brad and Andrew when we went to lunch. That it's like a completely different math. Every round that we play, we have to think about who we lay down as our defender, and then we get to place the other two teams, and who do we put into who they lay down as the defender. It's like an interesting back and forth. It's not anything we've ever experienced before, so it was kind of fun to do that.
Yeah, and you have to actually open up their lists a little bit and be like, all right, wait. I know you're playing X, but like, does X have the normal people in it, or have you thrown some weird stuff in it so your other guys can have stuff?
Yeah.
Like, you're never quite sure what list you're going to run into.
You do that because you are a competent player. We were just like, we know what we're doing. we'll take whatever comes our way. And as you can see,
no allegiances to any affiliation.
Yeah.
You guys did much better than we did.
The way it works with the three players, as we've kind of danced around but never actually explained, is whatever team rolls priority places a face down person on a table of their choice. Then the other team places someone on a table of their choice. Those get flipped. And then both teams get to pick who plays into that face up player, and the other leftover person plays the other leftover person from the other team on the empty table. That's how it works for three players, which is how most of the events in the United States work, like squad goals and this one we went to in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The 5-person ones is a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But I do think there's a really a magic part of a 3-player game because the team event. Because again, not only are you sharing models, you're sharing strategies with the team, and like you're really trying to think through. Okay, wait a minute. Do I just sacrifice myself into this list with the hope that the other two players can pull it out? Because that is a valid option, right?
Yeah.
If you go into a team and you know, man, that's a really good player. I don't like our chances to win more than 50% of the time with any of our players. I'll just throw myself in there. Maybe my other two friends can do too good. Or it could just be that you have someone who plays a very open general list, and you're like, you're our sacrifice. Have fun.
Yep.
Yep, that was kind of a thought we had, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
I do want to say I want to point out congratulations to Chance et al. On pulling out a victory. Good job, well done. In the Fabricated Sports event.
Funnily enough, Chance is the third in my team this year with Conan, so we're excited to go squad goals.
Yeah, you guys are probably going to do pretty well. That's a good team.
Have an absolutely kicking ass team.
I am exactly as excited if I win, if we get third place for the third time, because I feel like that's almost harder to do than win.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we move past the games we've played segment, I do want to, Steven, do you have any games that you have played recently that you want to discuss?
Unfortunately, not this week. The only thing I did was play a new board game with a friend on Friday. So, and that's it. So,
Wh- Uh, what was the board game? Out of curiosity.
it is called Distilled.
Okay, I've
It's
never heard of it.
Sounds like a
well,
drinking game.
it's not a drinking game, but you inherit a family distillery, and you are making concoctions and drinks and selling them and trying to get spirit points. So
Okay.
it's a fun, very relaxed game. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to look it up in the near future. Well, today, let's talk about who we're going to be talking about. That person being Adam Warlock, otherwise known as Adam Warlock. His defenses are 3 physical, 4 energy, and 3 mystic. He has 7 stamina on the front side of his card, but he has 8 stamina on the back side of his card. He is a threat value of 7. He is size 2, and he is a medium mover, and he is on a small base. He is also affiliated with the Guardians of the Galaxy team. Brad, why don't you do his attacks?
His first attack is Energy Karmic Blast. Range 3, 6 dice, cost 0. Gain power equal to damage dealt, and wild sap power before damage. For each wild, they lose a power, you gain a power. His second attack is Mystic Quantum Bolt. Range 4, 9 dice, cost 5. After attack is resolved, if the defender is size 4 or less, this character may throw it away medium, and has a wild avatar of life trigger. After the attack is resolved, for each wild result in the attack roll, this character may choose another allied character within range 4. Each chosen character may remove 1 damage or 1 special condition from itself.
All right. Steven, why don't you do his first 2 superpowers?
sure, we have a active superpower called Universal Translation. Place this character. It will cost you 2 power. Place this character within 2 of its current position. This superpower can be used only once per turn. We have a reactive called Cosmic Energy Construct. It is 2 power also. When this character or an allied character within 4 is targeted by an attack, this character may use the superpower. Add 2 dice to that character's defense roll against that attack.
And Tom, why don't you finish out the card?
All right. So the greatest ability on this card, Chronokinesis. This is a 4-cost reactive. When this character or another allied character that 4 is attacking or defending, at the end of the modified dice step, this character may use a superpower. The attacker and defender reroll all of their attack and defense dice. This is recal on a stick. Then he's got 2 infinite powers. One is being of immeasurable power. This is when this character would suffer damage from an enemy effect, reduce the damage of power suffered by 1. Additionally, this character may have 2 infinity gems rather than the normally allowed 1. We know those from Thamos. And then he is Flight, Gem Bearer, very specifically Bonded Soul, Mind, Power, Reality, Space, Time, and he is Peerless.
Okay. All right. So, what is everyone's take here on Adam Warlock? I want to throw it to Brad first. Brad, what do you think about Adam Warlock?
Thank you for not making me talk after Tom. I think Adam Warlock has a high skill floor, and a high skill ceiling. I think he's going to be hard to play well, but the people who really unlock him, I think, are going to do really well. Except for the recal, nothing's like crazy. It's just all pretty good. And his leadership, which we'll talk about shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's you have to really be paying attention and like thinking about it, but I think it's like really good. I think it has a lot of potential to show skill expression with what you're switching out.
Mm-hmm. Steven, what do you think about this card?
I think he is an appropriately costed cosmic threat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a little bit of everything, so you can't complain about that. And then he has something that used to be unique, but it's not anymore. So That would
Yikes.
no, the chronokinesis,
Yeah,
Oh, it's
he's
still
got
unique,
because Kang has that also now.
but
So
Kang can
Kang's
only
is.
do it for himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I did not realize that little thing. He can do this to anyone
mhm.
within range 4. Oh my, you're right. So this is even better. Holy moly.
Well, as Tom pointed out, it is different, but it is similar. Um, so I mean, yeah, he's a big threat, and people should watch out for him.
Yeah. Tom, talk about this guy. Talk about what's up with Adam Warlock.
So, number one, from a design point of view, I think this is a fascinating character to add. I do have one small thing that I wish they didn't do is I wish they didn't make his name Adam Warlock for his alias. I do wish it was him. And I have a new kitten that just crawled on my table. Hold on one moment. I have to remove a kitten from my table.
Yeah, him would have been a nice little detail from the
Wait,
comics.
you mean him as in just HIM
Yeah.
as his.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what they say? Did they
That
just
is
call him him?
that is what
We'll
you.
we can talk about it when we go into Brad's spiel
Yeah,
about
sure,
everything.
sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The reason I'm so excited about the character is this is my favorite character growing up. So this guy does a lot of stuff, uh, but I don't think we can talk about him without talking about the bonded soul gem. So I don't know if
Yeah.
one of
That's
us
true.
can read that
Yeah.
off first because that is a huge part of his kit.
Okay, I've got it pulled up. It is the bonded soul gem. The first and probably most important thing about this gem, threat value 0. Uh, he is the only person who can take the bonded soul gem, and it has an innate ability. When a non-grunt character is dazed or KO'd, this character may gain 1 power, remove up to 1 damage from itself, or remove up to 1 special condition from itself. Additionally, this character and other allied characters within range 4 cannot lose power as a result of enemy effects. Uh, a magnificently powerful soul gem. Having witnessed it in play, like when I first read it, for some reason I thought it was friendly model gets KO'd uh, or dazed. It is any model gets KO'd or dazed. At one point in my game against Adam Warlock, I thought, oh, I'll just go stagger him. Maybe that will buy me some time. So Gorgon ran over and staggered him. Then Yondu KO'd Gorgon, and Adam Warlock removed that stagger as if it didn't matter at all. So, yeah, this is an amazing gem. This gem is incredible, and more than anything, it is free. It is a free gem. He should have it every game. I don't think there's any reason why you don't have this gem on Adam Warlock in every single game.
So
Tom, do you agree?
you brought up exactly why the gem is so important for his kit. So this is an 8 threat model normally because you're normally putting a second gem on him, and he cannot be controlled by any of the means you normally control kaiju high threat models with. You can't really stagger him. You can't really shock him. You can't do the things you would do to minimize his presence on the battlefield because the rest of his team can contribute to him shaking those conditions outside of his own activations. And this has really created like literally the hardest to kill model I think we've had in this game since I don't know, maybe Ultron with Age of Ultron. Between being in Vol 1, being able to boost defense dice, being able to get rid of any of those high spike attacks into himself or his allies, you've got a model that's very difficult to interact with on the tabletop that is consistently supplying his team with not only an amazing leadership, which we go into after this as well, but protection from spikes, which we've all kind of come to accept you have to have a plan around, which is why so many people bring Recalibration Matrix into their lists. He's protecting his team from losing power, which doesn't sound like as big of a deal until you're playing into it. And let's say your Dormammu isn't getting skull power. Well, that's huge for his power economy. There's a lot of models that really rely on those saps to do the things they want to do in the game. It's a pretty common ability once you start like actually seeing stuff on the tabletop, and it's like, man, can't do any of that stuff to this guy or his team in range 4. It's just cool.
I was multiple times like I targeted Yondu with suppressive. With what's his face, Maximus the Mad. Maximus the Mad was using suppressive on Yondu, and the suppressive wasn't doing anything. Like
that's exactly what happened my first game as Adam playing into Kang.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my whole team concept of Mephisto draining power that went out the window as soon as he came along.
Mhm.
Funny story about Adam Warlock being hard to kill, and we'll see if he has started listening to the podcast. First day, Memphis gets Adam Warlock, puts him on the table. Apocalypse rolls up, one shots him turn 1 to daze him, and in 2 attacks on turn 2 kills him and takes him off the table, and he doesn't get to use them.
You're an ass.
I feel like there should have been some recalibrations in there, but
there was. Oh no, there was. It was the first attack he recalibrated. I got some damage through. The second attack he recalibrated. I got the rest of the damage through even after. It was
turns out still needs sacrifice.
It was rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the way this bonded soul gem works, it looks like Angela might be an option.
What do you mean?
Because she has,
what is she?
If she dazes or KOs a model, she gets to move and try it again for 2 power. And she's in Guardians.
That's a lot of hope on a model that does not perform very well after the throw change. That throw change was brutal for Angela.
I understand, but I'm just saying that, as somebody in Guardian, she can get off 3 attacks around if she needs to. So if she dazes or KOs somebody. So I mean, it's an option. I mean, it's just interesting tech.
I think the big thing is his team can bring a lot of heavy hitters. The 4-threat spot in Guardians is pretty contested right now with a lot of good options. You've got Yondu and Bill as 2 of them. I could even see using Gamora if we talk about the leadership. They tend to hit harder, but you can bring Splash that hits even harder, right? I just feel like this dude is a brutal one to play into as an attrition team because you rely so much on dice quality and dice fixing. And if you do this correctly, you should be able to ruin all of their tech. So, for example, my first game with Adam Warlock, I played into Kang, playing Zemo and Sif. And so you've got between Kang Spender, Zemo's Master Swordsman, and Sif's Master Swordswoman. I don't know what it's called.
That's right. Master Swordswoman.
Solid. Plus Dark Rain. Every time, it was chance actually, we were testing stuff. Every time he got to do the cool stuff, I got to recal it again. So he would keep doing like 11 hits or 7 hits or whatever it was. Well, it always got recaled across my entire team, right? You just turned off his leadership entirely and all those guys' abilities. It was nuts. It's such a powerful ability to have to counter those heavy attrition lists that rely on dice quality. It's really cool.
It is an amazing ability. It really is. Just having it means that you just have a recal whenever you need it. And if you're worried about power, this gentleman, he prints power on, like, he is a power factory. You will bring 2 gems with him, so every round he gets 3 power at the start of the game, and he will do a lot of damage with his builder, no question.
I don't know about that. He's not hitting that hard. If for his threat, right? Like if you think about it, I've had games with him. So I initially started testing him with the space gem because I believed that I wanted something to counter Dormammu on hammers, and Adam was going to be my flex model. And unfortunately, he doesn't really hit for 8 threat that well, even with, what you would think he would do, because you don't spender as much as you think you will, because you're saving for recal power.
Okay.
And
Okay.
six dice is not the greatest. It has pushed me into reality gem over the space gem. As much as I loved being able to counter all that displacement, that is probably the one thing you can do to Warlock is displace him medium, because he only has a short hop and he doesn't really want to move after round one. Unfortunately, his damage output for his threat cannot scale to his 8 threat value without at least doing the reality gem. Even then, that's not really why you're taking him.
Okay. Okay. That is fair. So that followed up with, I was going to ask you the question of which gem do you take alongside his bonded soul gem, and you take the reality. Okay.
Yeah. So I started with space because I really believed that the one thing I never wanted to do was move, and it allowed for a little more tactical play with like someone like a CGR to start with, which he's playing an attrition game, so bring attrition models. Um, Unfortunately, what ends up happening is you are very dice dependent on your 6 dice, and it does not feel as clean as just having reality. Reality gives you that little extra boost because under his own leadership, he's not paying the 1 power to turn it on, which means your dice are just better and you build more power over the course of the game and you're defending better. It just makes a huge difference to what his output could be on the table.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. It is just an extra little touch of dice fixing that is, he fixes the problem with reality in that he can take it for free, or he can use its ability for free. And speaking of which, I feel like we should talk about this leadership that we've hinted at multiple times, because I think it is very good. All right. I have it pulled up. It is called Cosmic Awareness, and it is a Guardians of the Galaxy tactics card based affiliation leadership. It is a reactive card. After deployment, Adam Warlock may play this card. When this card is played, set it near the battlefield instead of discarding it. Place 1 shield token on this card. Adam Warlock gains the following star ability. It is your active affiliation leadership. It is called Cosmic Awareness. When an allied character attacks, defends, or dodges during the modified dice step, it may use this ability. If it does, choose one of that character's dice and add a token matching that die's results to the set aside Cosmic Awareness card. Then remove a different token on that card and change the chosen die's result to match that token. This ability can modify skull results and can be used only once per turn. Additionally, this character may use the active or reactive superpowers of Infinity Gems without paying the power cost. Okay, so this is great. I think this is great. It is dice fixing that you can choose. Like it's not a reroll. You just make it happen. If you have the token set aside that matches what you need. Oftentimes, you will have an attack turn, and if you have an attack dice that's sitting there on the thing, you can swap it in and swap out a defense dice. This is what was happening to me. My opponent was doing an excellent job of moving out a defense dice whenever he's attacking and moving out an offensive dice whenever he's defending. And it just happened to happen over and over again. So he's getting an extra success for everything, or for once per turn, for everything that's happening. This is great. I think this is a great leadership. Tell me why I'm wrong. Brad, what do you think about this leadership?
Well, if you're gonna pick me, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. I think you're right. It is. I think it does require a lot of like thinking,
Yes.
and practice. Like you should be playing him and and doing this and see what works and what doesn't. You can't just haphazardly do whatever you want. Um, think it through. I don't know. I think it's great. I think you can get a lot of work out of this thing.
I agree. Steven, what do you think about this leadership?
I don't think there's anything that compares to it. It can make or break a game. That's for certain. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
but
I think it's great. Tom, tell us about this leadership.
So I keep trying to mute myself. The kitten has found a jingly ball and is rolling around the hallway, so you might hear some background noise. Um, so I think this is one of the most entertaining leaderships in the game. It's like right under Black Bolt 1 leadership for fun. You end up as the player making a lot of really easy choices and a lot of really interesting choices. During the course of the game, obviously, you're like, oh, I can just put a hit in for a block or a block into for a hit. That's great. That's great. You, as a good player, are really looking, did I overkill? Can I save something for the next turn? Can I bank a wild? You always think you're gonna be able to bank wilds. You probably can't. There's not that many wilds in the game, and you want to use them a lot. But it's really cool when you do. But you can also bank a crit. That's good for everything. It's a hit or a block, right? Um, if you're trying to hit specific trigger combinations, you can try to do that. But really, you're gonna get more mileage out of just knowing when you need to do something. You can do cool stuff like recycle shields. So if you have a Nebula on your team and you're trying to attack more and you have a shield in your pocket, well, swap out for the a skull that she rolled, because you can do that based off the card, and then re-roll this shield and try to get another hit in. Right? There's a lot of things you can do.
Ooh,
You can splash models that can utilize skulls or utilize someone like CGR, bank the skull, and that's a success for either attack or defense for that model. Right? There's a lot of depth to how to use this leadership. And at first, you look at it and just go, I'm going to make sure I always have a wild when I need it. But as you play, you're like, I'm just going to do good, cool stuff
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, I want to just point out this completely. You can choose when you do this at the same timing as rerolls and other stuff. So I think Tom mentioned Gamora earlier. So you could do something like roll your dice, explode your crits, pull a crit or a wild off the card before you start flipping dice. Or you could flip the dice and then bank something with Gamora. So you have a lot of leeway to do a lot of cool stuff as long as you just like keep in mind you can do stuff in whatever order you want.
Yeah, or if you're defending, right, and you've over defended, pop one of your shields back in just in case for the second
Yeah.
attack. Like, I mean, it's not for this turn, but for the next
Yeah.
turn, or bank a wild off of that or a crit, just because you have a lot of agency with this ability. You've already seen what the modified step is for either yourself or your opponent, depending on if you're attacking or defending.
Yeah.
So you can try to really figure out, okay, what possible way could they survive if I take one of my hits away so I can bank it for another attack later on the next turn. Like there's so many cool things you can do with this, and it really creates the unkillable Adam Warlock, where you always have an extra defense die. You always have your invul. Well, now you're at -2 to the attacks you're taking, or I can just recal.
yeah, that was my experience playing against this guy. Is that no matter what I threw into him, I was losing so many damage that it was irrelevant. And another thing about his damage reduction, it is not to a minimum of 1. It is to 0. He can reduce his damage to 0. And man, oh man, this guy is good. This guy was tough to play against. I think that in order to play against him, you have to have a plan. You have to come up with something. And I did not have a plan. That is just the truth about it.
Another aspect of this is that if you're playing his leadership, always try to get cover.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You can
Because
create a shield and then save it.
correct.
Yep. Yep.
There's a lot of cool little niche things you can do with it. It's just a cool leadership.
It is indeed. Uh, there is a tactics card that we should talk about. It is called the Magus. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. When an allied Adam Warlock that has the Infinity Gem Bonded Soul and does not have a leadership ability would be dazed, he must play this card. Discard that Adam Warlock's Infinity Gem Bonded Soul. That Adam Warlock gains the Occult Magics uh, innate superpower. Occult Magics. When this character makes an attack action, after that action is resolved, choose up to one enemy character not targeted by that attack. The chosen character loses one power, and this character may gain one power or remove up to one damage or special condition from itself. Additionally, when an enemy character loses one or more power, if this character causes that effect, that enemy character suffers one damage. That enemy character does not gain power from damage suffered in this way. All right. So, what are your thoughts on this card? It weirdly bakes in his soul gem a little bit and turns it into something that you can use offensively.
It's the
What do you think
anti-soul
about
gem.
this? Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of the soul gem, but what do you think about this, Brad?
I think this is really cool. I don't see people playing Adam Warlock as not the leader very often, for like tournament play, but for fun games, like I don't. I bought this box. I put the other two models together. I was more excited for them. If I play Adam Warlock, I'm not gonna make him my leader, and I'm gonna play this card, and I'm gonna have fun. Um,
I
it's
mean,
a
you could play. This is unaffiliated. You could
yeah,
splash Adam Warlock
yeah.
and use this card. Yeah.
This is a cool, fun ability. Um, it it does extra damage from sap power. It does a damage from its own ability. Um, it's cool. Like I think it's, and the flavor of it being the opposite of the soul gem, the bonded soul gem, is also really fun. Like I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. Steven, what do you think about this card?
I think this tactics card was made for web warriors.
For Web Warriors? Okay.
It
Oh,
probably
you mean
does.
to go against Web
It
Warriors?
probably does kill web warriors.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Tom, what are your thoughts here?
So that is not what I thought Steven was going to say. I was curious, Steven. Do you know the two affiliations and leaders I am looking at heavily for this card?
For this card.
Yeah, you're the kind of person that would think about these things, and I wonder if you've seen them.
Oh, let's see. Mephisto?
Nope.
Go ahead and hit me with that. Hit me with that
They're-
magic.
These are two leaders you enjoy. The first one is one we talked about prior to this cast. So the difficulty with the Magus card is you need your opponent to daze Adam Warlock. That's really hard to do. Why would your opponent do that knowing you have the Magus card? What are the two leaders that can force you to daze Adam Warlock?
Dormammu.
Red Skull 3.
Risco 1.
And Modoc.
And
Yeah,
Modoc.
because
Yeah.
the bodyguard. Yeah, the reverse
So-
bodyguards. Yeah.
So like I actually think there's a really cool tech piece with those two leaders. So Red Skull 1's reverse bodyguard also gives you access to cosmic invigoration, which means that you can have a potential 4 Magus attacks, which means a potential 4 extra damage and power saps anywhere on the board in one round.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
And under Modoc, hey, he's going to get that benefit of having an attack and defense boost like he would in his own leadership, while giving the ability of Modoc to have someone to toss things in constantly and not care.
No, But I was like looking at Mephisto because you can meet my associate.
That's fair. I like the leadership better for Adam under Modoc because again, you're trying to push his ability to hit harder up, and I just
Mm-hmm.
think it's a really neat concept.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. But the sap power thing kind of goes with the Mephisto plan I had. But I'm on a Mephisto kick if you haven't noticed. So.
But I just feel like the Magus is so much work to set up. It's a card that will only work for half of his activate. Like you have to have him die first, right? So you're talking about probably at the best round 2 you could pull it off for round 3, and that's saying a lot because again this is one of the tankiest models in the game. So unless we're down to like 3 extracts and he's the only one holding it with your leader who can also bodyguard into him, I don't see how you make your opponent do this. However, a cosmic invigorated Adam Warlock with the Magus is one of the coolest things I think I'd ever see in this game. Because there's no range band on the alternate target.
Yeah.
You're right. There's not. So what you're saying is this card is super cool and really awesome. The problem is it will rarely, if ever, be played,
I
just
don't know.
because of
I just want someone to do it. I might try it. I don't know. It's so hard. But come on. Rangeless board wide damage.
Not a lot of people are playing Modoc 2 and Red Skull 1. So
Nope.
right. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we have not talked about that involves Adam Warlock? This is a complicated character, so I may have missed something. I don't think we have.
I just think that I think Brad's correct. It's really cool that this is the opposite of the soul gem, the bonded soul gem. This is so much into his character. And Brad, I know you're going to talk about this, but I'm just excited about it because the Magus is the dark side of Adam Warlock. That is the being. He separated his good and evil out of himself with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's just some guy. And then there's hot chick over here that is his good, and there's the bad purple guy, which is the Magus on the other side. And it's a neat like, hey, this is a very comic like character thing to have in this game, and it's just a neat idea.
That's really awesome. I know so little about the character himself in the comics, so I have a lot to learn in the coming segment. However, before we do that, we have to give a letter grade to old Adam Warlock here. This guy is a 7-threat model, and that's incorrect. He's an 8-threat model because I don't think there's any reason why you would not take a gem with him. He is very Thanos-like in that manner. He gets access to one of the best soul gems in the game with the bonded soul gem. He is a fantastic leader for the Guardians of the Galaxy. He is a magnificent tech piece. You could splash him probably anywhere. Now, 8 is a steep cost to splash a model, but he gives you recalibration matrix anywhere on the board. I think having played against this model, having played against his leadership with a person who is doing it very well, this guy's ceiling is astronomically high. I think this is a solid A+ of a character. Absolutely. I think he's great. Tom, what are you going to give this guy as a letter grade?
I don't think I could do A+. I think he's a great model. I think he has so I think this is the kind of release where this guy in his leadership comes out and he's one you don't know how to deal with, and it makes him feel almost unbeatable until you get reps into him. You're probably playing a really tall list with him. He is vulnerable as a size 2 to a ton of displacement for all those medium throws because he only places himself 2 afterward. I think he's a solid A for himself in affiliation for specific matchups. right? This is not a guy who you probably go into every matchup using. You're probably either using a Star Lord as your backup or as your primary plan in most of them, or using him as some sort of cool duel, which is what I've been looking at him for. Because he is not the kind of model who can go into the entire field and as the leader, or even probably on the table, and win against those high scoring teams if it's the wrong scenario sets.
Okay, that's important context. Steven, what letter grade are you going to give to Adam Warlock?
I'm actually at an A minus. I think his threat value is going to hold him back quite a bit. So
He is steep. He's a steep cost.
because I mean the game plays a certain way, and when he gets in those scenarios, as Tom pointed out, that do favor him, he's going to be a juggernaut. Excuse the pun, but it's just one of those things where is he going to be good in 60% of the matchups or 40%? And I think that will determine how often he sees play.
That's fair. Brad, what letter grade are you going to give to Adam Warlock?
A. I think he's good. He has a lot of points.
He is indeed. Okay. Well, Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations that feature old him?
Yes, I do.
I guess.
I did not put his first appearance on here, but I did start pretty early with Strange Tales 178 through 181 and Warlock 9 through 15 by Jim Starlin, the guy who created Adam Warlock. Tom's definitely read more comics with this guy in him than me, I'm pretty sure. And but this is where they kind of flesh him out and give him his ongoing personality and stuff. Before then, he's kind of he's a one-dimensional character before this little run. And then for another recommendation, I decided that there's a comic I talked about in the past, Warlock and the Infinity Watch. This is Jim Starlin, and then there's other mostly artists on this over time. This is a comic I mentioned, I think, when we did Gamora, and it wasn't on Marvel Unlimited at the time. Well, it looks like they've added most of it. I don't think all of it's there. So I'm recommending it. This is a great place to see lots of Adam Warlock. Tom, you've read this one, right?
The Infinity Gauntlet Saga, Infinity Watch were where I was growing up with comics.
Yeah.
So that's the early '90s.
Yeah, this was after Infinity Gauntlet. Adam Warlock gets a team together where each person gets a gem, and the whole goal is to make sure nobody gets all the gems. And this is their big space book for a while. Coming out of this are a couple other crossovers, Infinity Crusade and then Infinity War. And these were a huge deal at the time. So, like, these were, I mean, they're very 90s. But they're fun cosmic books. Characters you'll recognize from this game and the Guardians movies. And Warlock was in the Guardians movie.
Indeed.
He was.
That was unfortunate. That was
it was a weird take on him. That's for sure. As Tom mentioned, like all this, his evil version gets split off. His good version gets split off. I don't remember what was her name.
the goddess, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
She started the Universal Church of Truth, and
Yeah,
it was that whole "I'm too good for everything, but everyone loves me."
Yeah.
It was very. She's very Mikola from Elden Ring.
Ah, hey.
Talking to the wrong
I
person.
love that reference.
And the right
That-
person.
No,
So
I
that-
got it. I got you.
That
Yeah.
was the goddess.
But a lot of that is in here, and eventually he dies. And then in Annihilation Conquest, and then the Guardian series that came after that, In Annihilation Conquest, he gets resurrected. He ends up joining the Guardians. This is that iteration of Guardians that is the first time like
The
Rocket and
Guardians 3.
Groot and Star Lord and all of them got together and were the Guardians. Before that, the Guardians were 3,000 years in the future. Um, eh, a
It's
thousand
just
years in the future.
Charlie 27 and Yondu hanging out.
Yeah. I love Charlie 27. Uh, Vance Astro with his Captain America shield. Anyway, I've recommended this stuff before, so this is just like a reminder that he's there too. And this stuff's really good. And I've acquired some of it, and I'm making Fred read
That is true. That is true. Can I just say, F Consort Radon, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Agreed.
Well, yeah. The only thing that's left is my non sequitur
Oh, hang on.
recommendation.
Can I talk a little bit about Warlock because this is a really interesting
absolutely.
character. So
Absolutely.
again, this was my favorite character growing up because of the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity War and all that fun stuff. So this is a character who has a huge, long history in Marvel. He started out in like the late '60s in the Fantastic Four books, created by the High Evolutionary. Who, if you don't know who that is, if you think Reed Richards is smart, I would say this might be the smartest human that is ever on Earth. And so he was so smart, he decided to make his own Earth.
He was also in the Guardians movie, the third one.
I don't even.
He was in
remember.
a different Guardians movie.
He was in the third Guardians movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And wasn't Adam in the second?
He's mostly in the third.
Yeah. He premiered in the second and then was a character in the third. A character of all time.
Oh, you're right.
So like
One of the characters.
this was one of those weird things where like the High Evolutionary made another world on the other side of the sun and like created the perfect human being, and that's who Adam Warlock was supposed to be. And he has had a huge like run in the various decades of just being sometimes good, sometimes kind of maybe a bad guy, but not really, but mostly good, but maybe bad. He created, like I said, the Magus and the Goddess. The Universal Church of Truth was one of those huge things that had galaxies spanning, almost like conquests, and it was very much a cool play on the morality of absolute love and good and devotion being also slavery and like this weird thing where like they were just obsessed and just cool stuff with this character. Really, the if you've never had the chance to read through the Infinity Gauntlet original series, it's just so fundamental to comics, especially the Marvel universe, and really brought together a lot of the characters that never really interacted in a really interesting way in a all the stakes in the world, galaxy, whatever you want to call it, kind of context. It's just a cool series for the time period. Is it really 90s? It is so 90s.
Yeah.
But I would say it is pre Todd McFarlane 90s.
Yeah.
So it's not as gritty, dark. I have like spikes on everything.
It's
And really,
it's the overtopness of the 90s that never went away. Like
Yeah.
throughout all the little subgroup of 90s like feel for the comics, everything was always over the top. Often in a good way.
Yep. And some of the Infinity stuff later on, like with the Infinity War, you had the really cool creatures like I hope we get Doppelganger, which is the Spider-Man six-armed clone that was in Maximum Carnage. He comes out of the Infinity One of them comic series. Um, the other piece of this is just when they announced Adam Warlock, there was going to be one of two things that occurred. You were either going to get the Infinity Watch Adam Warlock or the Guardians of the Galaxy Adam Warlock. I do not know much about the Guardians of the Galaxy Adam Warlock. I think it's really cool that he was able to fit into the game the way he is. I will say I'm a little disappointed we didn't get the Infinity Watch. The Infinity Watch was the Living Tribunal basically says after Thanos and then Adam Warlock have the Infinity Gauntlet, hey, this thing shouldn't work like this anymore. This is too much power. I'm going to turn it off. They cannot be used together. So Adam Warlock is the one charged to give individual gems to all the individual people. And there's some names you'll know. It's Moondragon got the Mind Gem. Gamora got, I believe, Reality or Time. I think she got Time. You had Pip the Troll, which is just a
God,
weird '90s
he's
character.
he's back, Tom.
That's a
Um,
problem.
no, Nova has the whole archive of the Nova people. I don't remember what that planet's called, and
The
but
Nova Corps.
yeah, but the planet I don't remember. He has their whole society inside him, but he has to keep the power up on the thing. So he actually has to. He's spending a ton of money getting power to put inside him to power this thing, and Pip the Troll is his manager. He gets him jobs
That's
to make
that's
money.
fascinating. That's fascinating. Drax the Destroyer. This is the Drax that is prior to the Guardians of the Galaxy Drax. This is
Oh yeah, he's a
the
lot
the
different.
this is a Hulk level being with the intellect of a child who eats the power gem as a jelly bean, and that's unfortunate that this is where we are in comics at that time period, but that was considered funny. Um,
I'm laughing.
and then the secret gem bearer, which does not get revealed for very long, of the reality gem. And I will ask if anyone has a guess as to who the secret gem bearer would have been in the '90s.
I feel like
No clue.
I know that it's Thanos, right?
It is Thanos,
Yeah.
and that is not revealed to anyone, and that was like a big surprise in the series. It's a neat part of Marvel history that doesn't get talked about a ton, because I think there's various areas of Marvel. You could say, you have the X-Men mutant stuff, which Brad will tell you about all day, and that's its
Yep.
own quarter of the universe. You've got like the Earthbound Avenger kind of stuff, which is cool, but it's kind of its own thing compared to like the Fantastic Four galactic threats and all that. And then you've got like this really cool cosmic world out there that is like the Silver Surfer and Quasar. And Guardians really wasn't a part of that when I was growing up, but Adam Warlock was a major figure in that greater cosmic hierarchy of characters. And he's just got a huge history, and I'm glad to see him in the game.
Yeah. The cosmic stuff is cool. And almost all of that is because the old stuff is because of Jim Starlin. And then
100%.
all of the new stuff is because of Dan Abnett. So, like, you've got two great creators who created two different but connected versions of Marvel Cosmic that are very cool.
And like personally, I've always seen the cosmic environment of Marvel as being the real big separation point from the DC universe. So the DC universe, their earthbound characters tend to be dealing with also the cosmic stuff and the new gods, and they're all
Yeah.
connected. There was always a much larger disparity between earthbound Marvel and these characters, and it's a whole
They
different mythos and world.
they barely ever meet. Like, it's just like completely different.
So, big fan. Glad he's here. Sorry, Fred. You can go ahead.
You're good. You're good. I'm glad that this is a character that people care about. I again, I know so little about this that this character sounds very cool. Sounds like a character I want to get to know better.
It might not be everybody else. This is the character I cared about.
I have heard multiple people talk about Adam Warlock being a very cool character, so it's not just you. It's definitely not just you. Well, Adam Warlock was played by Will Poulter in Guardians of the Galaxy, and the movie that I would recommend, I have almost certainly recommended. I've almost certainly told people that they should go watch Midsommar, which Will Poulter gets skinned alive in. It's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. But what I'm going to talk about today is I was looking through his backlog. I'm not super blown away by any of his other movies. He's in like he's a young person who's still in movies today, but he's trying to make a name for himself, making whatever works for him. What I'm going to recommend that people play today is the new Resident Evil 9. I have been playing it nonstop since it came out on Friday. It is fantastic. Resident Evil games are always like push and pull between the horror aspect of it and the uh, action aspect of these games. And this game manages to do both because there are two sequences. If you're playing as Grace, the main character, it is a very survival horror game. You are crawling through the ducts, trying to survive in a gritty, terrifying world. And if you're playing as Leon, you are in an action sequence. Leon is killing as many zombies as he can. It is a blast. I highly recommend this game. This game is in Game of the Year contention already. It's a little early to be talking about that, but I'm saying it. I'm saying it right there.
This explains
On-
why
on
Fred lost so many games yesterday. He has been playing this nonstop since Friday.
I was playing this nonstop on Friday and today. So
Well, and there's more big news for Resident Evil fans coming up this year. Zach Krieger, director of Barbarian and Weapons, is doing the new Resident Evil movies.
I cannot wait. I
Is it a
cannot wait
reboot?
to see.
It is a new series. It is not related to the old stuff, and
Okay.
thank goodness.
Yeah, right. Yes, it is a reboot. It's a reboot on top of a reboot because didn't they just make like Resident Evil
Raccoon City,
Raccoon City? Yeah.
and then there was
and it
the
was
show on
terrible.
Netflix. I like Raccoon City. I liked it better than the
Okay.
Mila Jovovich films. It was more.
I've not-
It felt like a video game.
Okay. I did not see it, so I can't really speak on it.
It has the weirdest interpretation of Leon that somehow still works.
Okay. Do I need to see it? Like, is it something to watch?
If you enjoy the Resident Evil games, it is the most Resident Evil game movie you could ask for.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds fun. I do love them, so I guess I do need to watch it then. But what Tom said earlier is correct. Zach Krieger is making a Resident Evil movie, and I cannot wait. And that'll do it up for us today. I want to say thank you to Tom for joining us. Tom, it is always great to have you on.
I was so
Really
happy with this one. I just love Adam Warlock.
Yeah. We've been bouncing around trying to get this scheduled, and for one reason or another, we've had to push it back, and we've been overdue for having you on with Adam Warlock. So I'm glad you were here this week.
I appreciate it, and I hope to be here after winning Akron Brew Brawl.
Yeah, we'll have you on in 2 weeks' time. All right. Well, Brad, thank you for running everything for us. And Steven, thank you for joining us today. And to everyone out there, hey, I love y'all. Have great games of Marvel Crisis Protocol, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye.